And now I'd like to introduce Allison Stoven O'Connor, who is our horticulture extension agent, works with the Master Gardener program and the Larimer County Farmers Market.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Allison, and I'm the horticulture agent. And I really do have such a privilege to work with wonderful vendors like Nick and Katie, master gardeners like Craig, who I'm about to introduce. And it is such a pleasure, really, to work every day. Sounds hokey, but it's really true, I promise. So I do coordinate the Master Gardener program. If you're not familiar with it, it's very recognizable. It's in all 50 states in the nation. And in Larimer County, we have an extremely active group of 115 volunteers. They do many things. They're at the farmer's market to answer questions. We answer Lavon's questions about what is this green thing on my plate. It was basil. And it had a flower on it, so we talked to her about that. And we do a lot of outreach education. And I'm very honored to introduce Craig Seymour. Craig has been a master gardener in our county for about 7 years. And prior to that, he came to us from Ames, Iowa, which is, of course, the home of Iowa State University. Go Cyclones. And I went there, so it's okay. So Craig has had master gardener experience for the last 15 years. And I think when you meet a volunteer who's as special and dedicated as Craig, it's like they've been part of your life forever. And so Craig came into the program. He worked seamlessly into our group, and I'm really honored to introduce Craig.
Early on, Allison was introduced as my boss, and anybody that manages volunteers know that you're really never a boss. But so the point is I look around and see all the extension name tags. So in Master Gardeners, we're always supposed to wear a name tag. Allison's always been very strict about that. So I got ready to come today. Glasses, billfold, car keys, hearing aids, everything's fine. I get here, and I run into the first person with the name tag. So this is my name tag today. So that's what Allison has to put up with all the time. Well, the other thing, I was in sales and marketing for years, so I'm going to stay pretty close to the script or I'll take too much time. It was on September 5th of 1998 was my first incentive to become a Master Gardener volunteer. The night the heart attack hit, like a heavy weight sitting on my chest. Until that date, life is focused on family, career, money, mortgages, car payments, kids' tuition, and all the things that we did to create our style of living. So life at 54 was about to begin anew. And from then on, my motivations changed. It became time to reassess priorities and chart a healthier lifestyle, as assured by the cardiologist that my cardiovascular disease and family history, I'd be on his table again in another 10 years if I didn't change course. So what can be healthier and more invigorating than gardening? Having grown up on a family farm, which by the way is when I first ran into extension, I was probably 10 years old and we planted a windbreak. And my duty was to plant those little saplings, and then in the back of a Ford pickup I'd put a water tank and I had to water those plants once a week for about a year. Otherwise, Western Kansas, they'd all die. So on that farm experience was basically just an extension of my childhood. Gardening was, only on a smaller scale. As hard as I tried, gardening as a hobby could not fulfill all my needs. I needed to create more opportunity from gardening, because I did enjoy gardening. But just as in a career, I wanted to learn more, explore new challenges, and share that knowledge. Luckily, I discovered and enrolled in the Iowa State University Master Gardener program. At first, just as a part-time volunteer opportunity as I maintained a less stressful job. Then it morphed into a post-career opportunity and became a more involved member of a Master Gardener. Then we moved to Colorado. The transition from Iowa to Colorado gardening is a big shock. It does take a change of attitude to stay focused on gardening techniques. However, under the Colorado Master Gardener leadership, following research-based information and applying proper practices to proven plants, gardening can be just as rewarding under Colorado's challenging conditions. For instance, When my beautiful hostas are shredded by a Colorado hailstorm, it is in reality no different than hostas in Iowa desiccated by slugs. They look the same. Pretty ready. To this day, my wife Lynette and I agree that Master Gardener program was a key life-saving step after a medical crisis. The Master Gardener program gave gardening more meaning and purpose, involvement with people like interest, access to educational courses, materials, and expert instructions, an opportunity to help other gardeners and deliver research-based information to foster community garden, and the list goes on and on. Being a volunteer is both challenging and rewarding. It is challenging to arrive at the farmer's market at 5:30 on a cold, windy morning in May. It is rewarding to share the experience with 10 other volunteers and see the vendors arrive, and the market faithful show up in support. And we all feel that farmer market excitement and realize better days are always ahead. The process is repeated again and again across all aspects and opportunities in Master Gardener. Volunteering is about the inputs and outputs of Master Gardener. The input is what we take in as individuals, is in continuing education. The hours and the opportunities are endless. The output side, what we give back, is all about volunteering, and through dedication, the hours can add up. And I think our volunteers run from over 200 hours all the way down to the minimum, which is 24. Thank you. Since 1998 has been 17 years of continuous recovery for me, focusing on health, but also interaction, stimulation, productivity, and a purpose that delivers a positive quality of life. In that respect, the Colorado State University Master Gardener program, managed by CSU Extension and funded by Larimer, in part by Larimer County, has been a positive contributor to my quality of life. And for that, I give a heartfelt thanks, which is no pun intended.
Thank you, Craig. We are so pleased to have you as one of our Master Gardeners. And I was thinking this morning about the importance of windbreaks. It's funny that you mentioned that, because in my driveway this morning was this much larger than normal drift that I had to get a backwards run out of my garage to get through. And I thought later, now I wonder why it was so much bigger than usual. Well, it's because we had to take out some big shrubs as a result of last year's event that decimated trees and shrubs, and we got so many calls about. And so that's why I had that bigger drift there this morning. Thank you, Craig.